I'm Jonathan Fournier, 28 years old. I'm a tattoo artist. 4 years total. At this point, 2 years professionally. I started teaching myself in 2010 and then started working here at Inkman for Dan in 2012 at the beginning of the year. When I went out to California, I stumbled across tattooing as far as a way of making a living as an artist. Because up until in high school, going to school, I wanted to do art, and graphic design was the only thing that people would talk about, and I didn't want to sit in an office at a cubicle doing that, and so I wasn't too keen on that. And then at the time I was writing and recording music at home and kind of got into that, recording friends' bands, and I was like, okay, well, let me check out this audio production thing. So that's what I ended up going to school for. Probably around the time that some of the tattoo shows were starting to come up, I was like, oh yeah, there is tattooing. And so I just started drawing more frequently, and then finally in 2010, something clicked, and I was like, okay, let me try and do this. But the hard thing about it was trying to find information. I didn't know anybody in the industry, and so I would try and find stuff on the internet, buy magazines. I basically ended up realizing, okay, I need to get tattooed. I had already had a tattoo. 2006 was my first tattoo, and then I was like, okay, let me get my arm sleeved. So I had been buying a bunch of magazines and stumbled across Jerry Frost, who did my arm. He was in Indiana, I was in St. Louis, so it was a 6-hour drive to go get tattooed for 8 hours, and then a 6-hour drive back. So that was fun, but I just watched him. And being an audio guy, I was paying attention, okay, how does the machine sound? How does it run? And then just watching him, getting your arm done, you can actually watch them work pretty well. So it was a good learning curve, just picking up and then asking him a few tidbits here and there. And then I finally found a place that would sell me equipment without doing a background check. So I ended up getting some stuff together, and I would go down to the farmer's market and buy pig ears and start tattooing that, and fruit as well. And then once I got to a point where I was like, okay, I feel like I could try and do a tattoo now. I got my best friend, who was stupid and willing enough to let me do a tattoo on him. And it was the math equation to the butterfly effect. And it took me 3 hours to do this tattoo on his back. And I was freaking out the whole time, because this is the first time I was actually tattooing somebody. And I'm like, A, I don't want to fuck this guy up because he's my best friend. And B, the whole time, it's a whole new medium when you do it. And so I'm 2 inches away from what I'm doing, staring at the damn needle, and I'm just watching it shove this ink, and it's hitting the skin and just going out. And I'm like, whoa, this is trippy as shit. And I'm like, okay, I know it's gotta look sharp. I can't go too deep. And yeah, it was the most nerve-wracking thing ever. working at Apple, I had a full string of people who just wanted to get tattooed. So it wasn't anything on a regular basis. I was lucky if I was doing a tattoo a month or every 2 months. But I had people who were willing enough to let me do things on them. And I just tried to take my time, and I only tattooed people I knew, or like a friend of a friend. You know, I kept it close. And my wife was like, do like a waiver form, just to cover your ass. Like the big thing in the audio was you always write CYA memos, like cover your ass memos, like this is what it is, this is what you're getting into. Like I just read up, like I knew sterilization was huge, so like I kept my shit clean, only used disposable stuff. I tried to play it the right way. Like it wasn't an apprenticeship. Like I had tried to get apprenticeships, but it just got to the point where I was like, you know, I've just got to do this. And there was guys in the industry that I looked up to that I knew had taught themselves. So I was like, it can be done. It's going to be hard, but it can be done. But it was interesting. I was lucky enough that I had enough people to come to me and be willing enough to let me tattoo them. And I've fixed up a few already, which is good. Tattooing for me, it's body modification or body adornment, you know. And the big thing for me, being American, we don't have a lot of culture. Like it goes back to fucking 1776, you know. And so first off, being American, there's that aspect of it. There's a finite amount of history. And then beyond that, that's why everyone's like, oh, I'm African American, I'm Irish or English, or, you know, that sort of thing. Like we don't have that lineage. We all come from somewhere else within X number of generations. So for me, it's always been a searching of like, okay, I want a tradition. Like America, we got a sweet 16, and that's about it. Like you turn 21, okay, you can drink your face off. That's cool. But outside of that, there's not much. And so for me, it's more a search of like, okay, I want to set up like a tradition. Like I want that aspect of culture. So I think that's why like that whole body modification phase had that huge revival in like the 90s kind of, and then kind of went from there. But like piercings, tattoos, and it goes from there too. But for me, that's what tattooing kind of is, and that's why I love it, because like everyone gets tattooed for different reasons. Like you can express yourself, you can memorialize something, you can try and get over something, you can just have fun with it. You know, it doesn't matter why you get tattooed. It's just another way of modifying yourself. But it's that whole like tribal aspect of it. Like wanting to find something, because I've always been fascinated in trying to figure out my family history, you know. And so tattooing gives me some sort of like, okay, this allows me to set up a tradition for myself. So it's interesting. Style is one of the, like, it's a hot button issue in tattooing, and there's two schools of thought on like you pick your style or it just comes. And I sit in the school of thought where it just comes. I've only been tattooing for 4 years, and like with any serious time for the last 2 years. So I'm gonna say in another 3 to 10 years, I'll have a style. It's my hand. Whenever I do a tattoo or a drawing, like that's me. Like I'm gonna come out in it no matter what. But as far as like nailing something down right now, I'm trying to keep open enough to as many different genres as possible. So into as many styles and possibilities as there are out there, you know, because if you go into it too soon being like, I only want to do this, in the long term you're fucking yourself over, you know, because you're not giving yourself the chance. And it's one of those things, like, getting good is all about just drawing your ass off, you know, and the more you draw, the more you get in tune with your hand, and your hand gets in tune with you, and that's when you start developing yourself, you know. And what I do now, in 10 years, I'm going to look back on and be like, why the fuck did I do that? You know, and it's inevitable. Like, no matter how much I pour into a piece and be like, okay, this is honestly as good as I can get it, and I'm really happy with it, future me is going to be like, well, you could have done this, you know. So I mean, it's humbling, but it's one of those things, like, I can only do as good of a job as I can do now. I'm going to work my ass off to do it, but you get to a point where it's like, okay, there's always room for development, which is cool. Art's all about what's appealing to you, or what evokes an emotion in you. So I always like looking at stuff that's well rendered, well thought out. But when you're going into doing a piece and you're looking at other people's work, it's about trying to figure out, okay, what were they thinking about when they went into this, and like what did they, or like if I run into an issue with a drawing, looking at someone's work and being like, okay, how did they figure it out, you know? So I like being outdoors a lot, so I'll just pull from my environment, you know, and try and have as many experiences as possible so you can absorb things, be it like culture or other people's art or just a life experience. You know, I think it's all a part of art. People always talk about someone has a gift or a talent, and it's only ever going to take you so far. There's always that level of how often do you do it, how serious are you about it, that actually makes you something. You know, like the more you're doing it, the better you're going to get. I don't care if like you were born with a pencil in your hand and you were born like a shit drawer. Like, if you're a shit drawer and you sit down and you draw your ass off, you are going to be better than that person that was born with a talent that didn't do anything with it, you know? And it's just a matter of work ethic, and I think that's the hard thing that people don't realize. When I was only tattooing part-time, yeah, I had a hard time. Like, I didn't really call myself a tattoo artist until A, I was working professionally, and B, until I was really into it full-time. It's like, okay, now I'm comfortable saying I'm a tattoo artist. But as far as like just talking to people, no, I don't really have a problem with it. I'm trying to up my game with technology anyway, so part of it is kind of putting yourself out there as much as possible. I'm on Facebook, Tumblr, and I have a website as well. And a name I came up with in the beginning was Squiggly Bastard, because I didn't know what I was doing, hence the squiggly part. And then the bastard being, I taught myself how to tattoo, so I was like, okay, and it's catchy, so people will remember it. So I was like, okay, let me roll with this. And so it's squigglybastard.com. Same thing on Facebook, Squiggly Bastard, and Tumblr as well. But yeah, and Instagram too. So I update Instagram the most, and that feeds Tumblr and Facebook, and then I'll do bigger breakdowns of like what I've done on the website as kind of like a blog sort of thing. But tattooing wise, I'm at Inkman in Brooklyn, 64th Street and 18th Avenue. Right now it's Saturdays through Tuesdays.